Welcome back. Now we're going to dive into loops. When you're doing code, you might find yourself in the future writing lines and finding that over and over again you're doing the same line of code. Whenever you see that, that is a great time for a loop. And Python has two types of loops. They have for loops and while loops. We're going to just talk about for loops in this course. While loops you can look on your own time. So let's go ahead and dive into Codesters and see how these work. To create a for loop, you probably are going to guess that you need the keyword for. So there we go. And we then need a variable. This is what iterates or moves through the loop. And this allows us to count. So in a lot of cases, I is used as this variable. But it can be almost any name you want it to be. But once again, be aware that what name you choose is really important. Then we used another keyword in. And finally, you might wonder, so for I in, that kind of begs for more. And guess what there is? Range. And this one is a method, a special method that we put a value into, specifically an integer. And I'm going to say 6. So for I in range 6, that is the kind of choice there that I can do. And what I can basically find here is this is going to look through and say for I in the range of 6. So let's kind of count this through. Say we're looping through. I is going to start off at 0. So we're going to start counting and it's going to go 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now you might notice I stopped at 5, but my hand is holding out 6. And that is because in range of basically is saying from 0 to the number right before 6. So in that range. And this is really important to things down the road, but that we won't get into today. But it is nice to know that this counts for 6 times if we are saying range of 6. Okay? Then I need my colon. Once again, like if statements, the methods or functions, and object classes, class objects, we can use the colon to let us know what's going to be in here. And I'm going to have a little fun with this. I'm going to create a variable, call it just simply x, and I'm going to give it a value of a random number. And I'm going to call a special command or a special method called random.randint. And this allows me to choose a random number between 2 integers. Once again, integers are those whole numbers. So I'm going to go ahead here and say y equals random.randint and do those same negative 150, comma 150, and I'm going to make sure I do the correct parentheses to make that work. So we've now created a random integer on it for x and for y. And you might be thinking, what are these going to be used for? Well, I'm going to assign them to a shape. So I'm going to go ahead and put a circle sprite in here. And I'm going to take these x and y values, these variables, and put them in the x and y kind of parameters of the circle. So now we're looking at this. And before we even run it, let's take a look. So we start the loop. We give a random x, so we got negative like maybe 33 and then positive maybe 150. So that's going to be kind of somewhere maybe right around here in some place. Now every time we go through this, it's going to create a new random integer for x and a new random integer for y and create a new sprite Codester circle. So let's go ahead and run this and see what happens. We get a bunch of little blue, or actually fairly large blue dots. Maybe I want to do 60 of these, and maybe I want them to be a size of 10. And there we go, another kind of change to it, and now we have this kind of dotted pattern, and every time I run it, I'm getting a slightly different pattern. And that's really cool because it allows me to create a cool behavior that might be useful for a game or an application that I'm building. So this is the beauty of a for loop, because if I had to code this by hand, let's say I made 60 x ints, random ints, and 60 y random ints, and 60 circles. Well, what would end up happening is I would have to write 180 lines of code. So with 4 lines of code, I created basically 180 lines of work. That's pretty powerful, and that is what loops can do for you. So down below, you're gonna find an understanding challenge. I recommend you check that out. You wanna make your own project with using loops. Take advantage of those tools that maybe we've learned before, like conditionals, and maybe throw those in there too. But create a little project that shows off what you now understand about for loops. And then I'll see you in the next video.